so much for joining us tonight for our Guide to Online Banking webinar. Tonight, we'll be talking about tips, tricks, and best practices. I'm your host, Lindsay, and joining us is Brad, our e-services manager. Welcome, Brad.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Just a little housekeeping before we get started. All our attendees should notice that your microphones and cameras are off. If you have any comments or questions, please post them in the chat. If we can try to answer them in the chat, we will do so. Otherwise, we'll have a Q&A session immediately following our presentation. Please take the time to fill out a short survey after the webinar concludes. This will just give us helpful insight on what you enjoyed about the content, and if you have any suggestions for future webinar topics, we'd love to hear them. So let's get started. All right, so online banking. Thankfully, Brad is our resident expert. So today's topics, we're going to be going over all of online banking. Mainly, we'll be touching on topics that you get a lot of questions in e-services. Is that all right?
We're going to cover everything from enrollment to dashboard navigation, some key features, our alerts and security, and just some best practices for navigating the online banking experience.
Awesome. I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of our members.
I hope so.
So let's talk about enrollment. Obviously, we have to start there. What are what's your best advice for members when they're enrolling in online banking?
So just to kind of go over the enrollment process quickly from start to finish, to get access to your online banking and all of the e-services available there, you're going to want to go to our homepage, campuscu.com, and navigate to the top right corner. There's going to be an Enroll button there by your username and password. So once you click on that Enroll button, you're going to need your account number, your social security number, and just a little bit of your personal information. And then you're going to see a field for the requested login ID. That trips some people up, and it's not something that we give you. So that's going to be what you want your username to be. So please come up with something creative. It shouldn't be something that you use on other websites. Just for security, you want to make this unique to campus. And once you've plugged all that information in, you're going to hit continue. And from there, you're going to be able to create your password and continue with that enrollment to get into your online banking for the first time.
This is a really important point to make, because I will say that I personally have chosen a very simple user ID in the past, something that is very generic. So I started getting alerts that someone was trying to reset my password and basically get into my online banking. So of course, when I was getting those notifications, I contacted someone at the credit union, and they could see that there were attempts to change my password. So we went ahead and changed my user ID to something that I don't use on any other website. In fact, it's kind of hard to remember, but
that's what keeping a passkeeper is for, right?
Exactly.
Your Google Passkeeper or something along those lines. You don't have to remember it, but you can at least keep it secure. That's
as long as I can use Face ID, I am good. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to start over. All right, you want to show us how quick and easy this is?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So you're going to go and navigate to the Enroll, and then you're going to type in your personal information. So you're going to get your last name, your date of birth, social security number, and then get your account number in there. That's going to be your member account number, and then plug in your requested login ID. Go to continue.
Congratulations.
Right there, you will be requested to get a secure access code. So you can get that by text message, phone number, email address, and
there it is.
Thank you. Whatever you gave us when you opened your account, that's what's going to be available to send that. So then you're going to get your password created.
A lot of requirements there, but
yeah, you want to make sure it is a secure password. So we have quite a few requirements on there. I always recommend using letters, numbers, special characters, make that as unique as possible. And you've got all of our disclosures. And if this is going to be a device that you're using frequently, I definitely recommend registering that so you don't need a secure access code every time you log in. And once that's completed, you arrive at our landing page. This is your homepage for your online banking.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
I have gone to not registering my device. There's been so much fraud lately. I simply, it doesn't inconvenience me. I think maybe I've had too many conversations with our risk manager. Tony and his team are always advising us on best practices. I know that you guys work closely too. So
Well, it's so quick and easy to get a secure access code if you're using
it
text
is.
message. It really doesn't even slow you down.
I know, it
So,
really doesn't.
yeah, but if you're the only one using that device, no one else has access to it. It's your personal cell phone. You
Yeah.
can very easily skip that process, register the device, and then you don't need that each time you log in.
If you're using like a shared computer, whether that be in a public place, which I don't think is very common anymore, or even just sharing it with friends or family, I wouldn't register the device.
Right.
All right, now that we are logged into online banking, we're going to look at navigating the dashboard.
Right. So when you sign in for that first time, you are going to see probably some little red bars at the top, maybe a couple of pop-ups. Definitely recommend taking the time to read those. Those are things that we are putting out there to grab your attention. It doesn't mean it's an error message. Typically, it's not something that's wrong. We just want to inform you about something that might be going on at that time.
So that's thanks for making that point, because it can be easy to just overlook just out of habit, but always try to read those messages.
Definitely.
So let's take a look at the navigation if you want to show us around.
So at the top here, you have all of your different navigational menus. So each of these, if you click on them, will open up a sub menu. So this one, for example, is your transfer and pay, where you have different transfer payment options. You can pay bills, make a payment, services here. You have
So
all the
much.
different service options. There's so much you can do. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into each of these as we move on. We have alerts and messages where you can manage account security alerts, view some messages, settings. We have all of your different contact information, account settings, open and apply. You can apply for loans, open a new account, open a new share on an existing account. So many different things that you can do here.
I love all of the self-service options. I don't think we're going to go through everything. I don't think we'll have enough time tonight, but definitely we're going to hit on all of those, or the most common questions that you get in e-services.
Yeah, there's so much to this. If we went through everything in detail, we'd be here for 3 or 4 hours.
We'll do a follow-up. So this is the main, well, it's the tree, I guess, and you can screenshot it, but sometimes if we add services or take them, this can change, but this is a general idea of all of the navigation.
And this just shows you how powerful this is, how many tools you have at your disposal here. This is a lot of content.
It really is.
It's really great that you have all of these different options, but it can be overwhelming. So like you said, we're going to get into some of the more common questions, different pain points, maybe if you have some trouble navigating these.
Sure.
And just go through some of these more.
And this is all of the navigation index here will be provided on our website after our webinar is published for on-demand viewing. And so you can download it, print it, and keep it handy if you need it. I think this will be helpful for a lot of our members, that especially if they're new to online banking.
This is great. So one of the more common questions that we get is, what is the difference between my account number and this ACH account number? One is a little bit shorter, one's a little bit longer. There's letters and numbers in one of them. What's going on?
Right.
So the easiest way to explain this
confusing.
is your account number, which that first one we have there on the left side of the screen, that is your member number. So if you call in, you visit one of our local service center locations, that's the number that you can provide and we can pull you up. Now, if you're trying to make a electronic payment or get direct deposit to your account, you're going to want to use that ACH account number, which is typically a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And the easiest place to find this actually is on our account navigation page. So if you click on your account tile.
So this is for if I want the ACH number for this specific account.
And then if you go to details and settings, you can see there's section there for account number and the ACH account number.
No, really, that's helpful because I don't think it's necessarily intuitive, right? But this is really helpful. Cool. Transfers and payments. Of course, we want to move money around.
That's probably one of the most common things that happens in online banking.
Yeah.
You're in there to look at your balance, transfer money around, and make some payments. So we're going to look at transfers and payments. So Some key points here, we're going to be reviewing internal transfers so you can move money between your accounts. We're also going to be looking at making payments, looking at one-time versus recurring transfers and payments, and just look at how everything kind of works together in there.
I love the automated part of setting these up because, well, we'll see later, kind of a strategy I have for set it and forget it.
Yeah.
But this is the first step in setting it. So let's look at that.
So if you navigate up to our transfer and pay tile, you can go to transfer money and you can select your account that you want to transfer from. You can see we have some options here. We can transfer from the checking to the savings. You can enter a dollar amount that you want to transfer. You see we have a frequency, so you can do a one-time transfer. We're just going to do that to start with. Your transfer is complete.
Perfect.
So you have a little screenshot there of your summary of the transfer. You can make sure everything was completed correctly. And it's as simple as that, just transferring between your accounts.
And then for loan payments, I know this is really common when a member sets up recurring transfers or recurring payments. What happens? What do you hear the most?
The most common thing we come across is I set my loan payment on recurring and it just stopped out of nowhere. And unfortunately, one of the trickier parts of this is there's a field to just never end that payment. So
Gotcha.
it will
Okay.
go continuously until that loan is paid off.
Right,
So
right.
if you don't check that little box there, that's going to set it to end after a certain number of months. And so that's where we typically see members saying, I'm never late on my loan. What happened?
Oh,
Unfortunately, it's just such a simple thing to overlook. So
It
we will
is.
take a look and show you how to make sure
I think
that
this
doesn't
is,
happen to you.
it's happened to everyone. It
It's
really
happened
has.
to me.
Me too.
So
Me too.
go into the make a payment section there under transfer and pay. And go from our checking account here to the loan. And you see we can choose a regular payment, principal only, payoff. We're going to do a regular payment for that standard payment amount.
Principal only
Principal only payment. And then we can set a recurring. So we're going to do a monthly recurring. And you see here we have our start and end date. There's that checkbox for repeat forever. So we will check that off.
That's the key.
And that makes sure it will continue until that loan is paid off. Once the loan is paid off, it's not going to keep transferring your money for you to nowhere. So you don't have to worry about that. We'll just go ahead and submit this here. And it says down at the bottom, until you cancel it. That's until you cancel it or until that loan is paid off.
Well, it looks like you are going to be $1 closer every month to paying off your loan. All right, external accounts. I know that that's a very important feature for a lot of members, especially our members who maybe don't have a checking account and they have a loan. And it's so much easier if you set up an external transfer, move money to your savings, and then make your loan payment. It would be a lot easier too to just have your checking account at campus.
We have fantastic checking account features.
We do.
I highly recommend everyone have a checking account with us. But if you don't, or you have some other accounts somewhere else that you need to transfer from your campus account, if you're closing out an account somewhere else and you want to transfer that money into your campus account through the external transfer option, we can definitely help you out with that today.
This is so much easier than it used to be to set up an external account. It's super impressive.
Great. We've made a lot of improvements on this process over the years, and now it takes just seconds to add that account. It's amazing.
All right.
We will run through that process here for you. So to add an external account, you're going to go to the Transfer and Pay tab and go to Manage External Accounts. And I always recommend using the instant verification. You do also have an option for using micro deposits, which transfers very small amounts to your other institution. You come back and verify those amounts, but we're just going to use that instant verification here.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
It's so much faster. It's instant. It really is. So to start that instant verification, you are going to click on that button. That's going to open up a window for Plaid. And from there, you're just going to select the bank or credit union that you want to add for the external account. It's going to open up a little window to enter your login credentials. And sometimes they'll send you a verification code through that institution to make sure that's you trying to log in.
That makes sense.
And then you're just going to simply select the different accounts that you want to add from your online banking. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Then they are now linked. Yep.
So right away, I can move money to and from my external account.
You sure can. You can transfer it into or out of.
Wow.
It is so quick and easy. and then you can instantly transfer that same day. You can initiate those transfers.
Yeah.
It does go by ACH. So if you
Right.
transfer money, it might take a day or two, depending on
Gotcha.
the timelines that you're transferring on, but you have immediate access to those accounts.
That's so much easier than I know years ago, before we had this kind of technology, we would have people that would use bill pay to send themselves a check. That's kind of like an automated, it's a smart idea. It's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
No,
I'm
that's
sure
great.
some people still do it, but this is really great.
It just enhances the process.
Yeah.
It makes it so much faster and smoother.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that check getting lost in the mail, processing times for that. It's just 1 to 2 days and that transfer is completed.
And the micro deposits, yes, I understand the intent behind it, but if there's that required follow-up, if you can just do it instantly, it just makes, at least for me, I don't want to have to go back and check on it, babysit it. So this is a great option.
It's fantastic. The micro deposits work just fine,
Yeah.
but if you are able to use that instant verification, it just makes your life so much easier.
Now, is the processing time for transfers any faster or slower depending on which way you enroll?
No, once that account is linked, you can transfer in the same amount of time. It's
Okay.
usually 1 to 2 days, depending on the time of day that you complete your transfer.
All right.
Not including weekends, because they only get processed on the weekdays. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're trying to transfer your money around.
Awesome. Speaking of online bill pay.
Great segue. So our online bill pay is still a fantastic service. This is something that our members use a lot to pay bills with other institutions. You can pay individuals if you have rent or something that you need to pay to your landlord. Transfer money to a family member or friend for maybe something that you owed them previously or
Right.
recently. This is a fantastic way to do that. So
Yeah.
you can schedule bills out in the future. You can set up recurring bills. We have the ability to make those bill payments electronically if the recipient or company does accept that. So
Right.
you can make those payments extremely fast, very easy, and it's a super simple thing to learn how to use.
That's what I love about it. I think when bill pay first was introduced as a new technology, banking technology, it was really, they were all checks. And it just got easier because we were able to make those ACH connections. And what I love about it is some people don't want to just automate their bills with a vendor. If you have a utility company, you want to know how much you're sending before it goes out instead of it just disappearing from your account. And this gives you the ability to have that control over your finances, but you still have the convenience of having that electronic payment. So you're not late, and it's just all around.
And there's no fees.
Right.
Sometimes you
Right.
pay on those other websites, they'll
Yeah.
charge you a convenience fee.
Right.
This is a completely free service with your free checking account with Campus.
I love it.
Take a quick look here at bill pay. So from the transfer and pay tab again, we're going to go into the pay bills, and this is your bill pay screen. It's just this easy. So you have your different payees that you've set up in the past. You can add a new payee. I know this screen can look a little bit overwhelming. A lot of this is optional, as you can see, but we're just going to set up a test payee really quick. We're going to pay a company. Like I said before, you also have the ability to pay an individual if you're paying a family or friend. We're just going to add some test information here.
I know a lot of utility companies and just those common, I guess they're common payees. A lot of them are set up so that they get electronic payments. Would you agree?
Yeah, most of them will accept electronic payments. I would say keep a close eye and pay attention to the payment address, because that is one of the key ways the bill pay service identifies that as an electronic eligible payee.
Okay.
So make sure you're using that payment address exactly that shows up on your bill. So it's as simple as that. You can set up a payee, and then you can see here from your screen, you can choose your pay from account. It does have to be a checking account at Campus. You have the amount you want to pay. You can set a delivery date, and it's as simple as that.
Super easy.
We will show a little test here. So we're just going to set that delivery and amount. You want to review your payments and submit.
I like too that you can, they're all right there. You can just sit down, do all of your bills at once, and that's it.
It makes it very convenient, super easy to use, and it's just built right into the online banking.
And free.
That is always a bonus.
Always, for sure. So eStatements and eDocuments, this is really important to a lot of our members because if you have elected for eStatements, your checking account is completely free. Now, there are some members who are exempt if they're under the age of 18 or over the age of
55.
You got it. Then their accounts are automatically free. But if you're in that window and you still get paper statements, and some people don't even notice that it's happening, we'll try to let them know if we notice it. But you'll still get charged. I think what is it, $3 a month? So that's $36 a year you don't need to spend. So sign up for eStatements and save your money. And I prefer it anyway because it automatically archives my statements and I don't have all my account information floating out there in the post office, and it's more secure for sure.
It's secure, it's easy. You get an email notification when your statement's ready to view at the beginning of the month, and you can just log into your online banking and access all that information right there.
And you don't get the actual statement in your email because, again, I think that I wouldn't want that either.
Yeah, for security, we all know, unfortunately, emails can be compromised relatively easily. So we want to make sure we're not sending that information out, showing all of your account balances and information.
Exactly.
So we just tell you, log in your online banking and you can access your most recent monthly statement.
Perfect.
So a couple of things to note here for your eDocuments as we get in here. You do have the option for online only or online and by mail. If you choose the online and by mail under these delivery preferences here, it will still send you that paper statement. So you'll still get charged that $3 per month, but you do have the flexibility of then receiving it by mail if you want to still receive a physical copy of your statement, or you can still look at it online. If you choose that online only, that's going to waive that $3 per month, and you're able to just view your statements purely online. You can always download PDFs and print that out yourself if you want a physical copy too.
So the interested parties, so when would you designate an interested party to have access to your eDocuments or eStatements?
Yeah, if you have a family member, a bookkeeper, a tax professional who helps prepare that, you can add them there at the top under interested parties and add their email, and they will also then get those notifications and you're able to access your eStatements for you as well.
But they need to have an online banking. They need to have their own credentials in order to access it.
Right.
Good to know. Another very popular service, Skip a Payment.
Skip a Payments are fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that campus offers Skip a Payments, especially around holidays and in the summertime. You're doing a lot of traveling, spending. You can skip a payment on your loan twice a year, not in consecutive months, but you can skip it twice a year. There's a $50 fee.
Right.
And you can actually start that process online in your online banking. So you can go into the services tab and scroll down to skip a payment. And it's going to show you any of your eligible loans for skip a payment. It shows the current due date.
So the funding account, that's the account that the $50 fee is going to come out of.
Right. So you choose which one you want to have that $50 fee come from, accept the terms of the skip a payment, and hit submit.
If you need a little extra cash for, you said, summer, holidays, this is a nice way to just boost your budget a little bit.
Yeah.
The $50 doesn't go towards your loan, but it is a convenience fee, and will extend the terms of your loan with each skip. Right.
Some other cool features. We have security and account alerts. Some of these alerts, mostly the security alerts, are automatically turned on and you can't toggle them off. They send you very important account security information like failed password attempts.
Yes, I'm aware. I know about those.
And it's great. You wouldn't have known otherwise. You would have no idea that someone was trying to log into your online banking who wasn't you.
Right.
And know to get your information updated.
Exactly.
So these are extremely important. They're timely, they're sensitive. So always keep an eye out in your email or your texts for these alerts.
Yeah.
Because you can choose how you receive those alerts.
I always get mine via text because that's the most immediate. I don't check my inbox every time I get an email. Goodness, I can't imagine. We would never get anything done. But text messages I think it's more front of mind.
As soon as I get a text, I'm always checking my Apple Watch, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just immediate. It's right there.
Right. So let's take a look at some of these things.
So if we go into the alerts and messages, let's take a look at some of the account alerts first.
This goes really fast, by the way.
We have our account. We can select the alerts that we have for our checking account here, for example. And you have alerts for deposits exceeding whatever dollar amount you set. You can set alerts when your balance
It's a threshold.
hits a threshold, or you can set it just to send you a balance every single week, month, every Monday if you want to.
I like to get it every week or every day.
Yeah.
So every day I get a balance notification. So if I get the balance notification, it doesn't look right. Oh, let me look at my online banking. Everyone should be looking every day anyway, but anyway.
You don't even have to look.
Right.
It sends you that message, lets you know what you have available, and it just makes it extremely easy. And some of these security alerts that we're going through now, these are, as you can see, if they're grayed out, you can't toggle those. Those are automatically turned on. So these ones are extremely important. They tell you a lot of vital security information about your account.
I noticed the contact information, that's really important too. Sometimes when fraudsters will, when they've taken over an account, one of the first things they do is change your contact information so that you don't have access to your email, text notifications, for verification purposes. So it's a safety guard.
You get that alert that your contact information was changed.
Red flag.
And something's wrong.
Yes.
You need to give us a call. Please give us a call if you see something like that pop up.
Right away. And call the number on our website.
Yes.
And if anyone from campus calls, you just say, I'll call you back. We won't be mad. Oh, so this was the second part of my set it and forget it. So I love this feature. You can customize your account view. So let's talk about that a little bit.
No, this is great. So this is something that is completely customizable. You can organize your accounts in a certain way. You can rename your accounts to whatever you'd like to.
I do.
If you have 4 Encore savings accounts set up for different things like I do, you can rename them so you're not having to remember 1, 2, 3, and 4 or for these different things. You can say this is for this savings goal, or this is for the house. These are for travel plans.
Yeah.
It's great. And you can organize and customize this however you'd like to. It just really makes it extremely convenient.
So every 2 weeks, money goes into a savings account. I don't even think about it. It's set up automatically. And I log in online banking. I'm looking at my daily checking account balance. I don't even think about my savings account because it's not on my dashboard. I can put it back if I want to, but I'd rather not because I just know there's money going there. And if I don't see it, I'm not going to spend it.
Yeah, that is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Or if you have an older account that you don't want to look at anymore, it's just there for maybe an IRA or something that you don't need to look at every day. It's just cluttering your view.
Right.
You can hide that. You can unhide it whenever you want, but you don't have that right in your face every day, every time you log in.
That's super convenient. And I need it simplified when I'm looking at my accounts for sure.
So here's an example of getting in and managing these accounts. So you can see my checking account here. We're going to rename this to
money. Very creative, Brad. Thank you.
It's how I'm just a straightforward kind of person.
Pretty much. Yeah. I expect no less.
And then we can even change the grouping name for these accounts.
Yeah. So some people I know they might have big bills that come due every 6 months. And so they might have different accounts set up for those, and then they categorize them. You can get fancy with it.
Yep. So we just need a travel accounts group, and that just as simple as that, we hid some of those accounts and they no longer appear on your home screen.
Set it and forget it. I do. It's my favorite thing, and it's some advice that I've given it to family members or friends that are trying to boost their savings. And I think that's the biggest thing is even if it's a little bit, $20 a week or $20 a month, whatever you can do, years down the road, you will thank yourself.
It adds up.
It does.
That is what online banking is for, right? It's for convenience. It's to help you meet your financial goals.
Right.
So little tricks like that and tools to be able to do that, it really makes a difference.
Absolutely. Yes. This we do not have time to cover today, and there's a lot we don't have time to cover today, but we do have some things coming soon, right?
This is great. So this actually was just recently released.
Financial tools
is our financial tools, and there is so much that you can do in here. We could spend easily an hour just going through this by itself.
So we have to have another session just dedicated to financial tools.
We can come back to this, have another webinar session to look through just how powerful this is.
Yeah.
This is a personal finance management tool.
Wow.
And so you can look at your spending, you can set budgets, you can see throughout the month, I've done these transactions under these categories.
Oh, yeah.
It's extremely powerful.
I don't know if I want to know my grocery bill.
I tell you what,
that's not, I say, I don't know if I want to know, but that's the habit you have to get into in budgeting, is being aware of your spending.
Yep.
And I love the way it categorizes it. So it really breaks it down. If you eat out a lot and it's right there and you're looking at it, you might be a little bit more mindful about making those decisions in the future.
Sometimes I'll say, where did all my money go this month?
And
like I said, I don't really want to know, but you have to know.
You have to. You really do.
So looking at this tool to see the breakdown of where you spent all of your money for the last month or the last year, it is incredibly powerful.
Right.
It's really useful. I highly recommend getting into it, playing around with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, we can do a follow-up session to go into this in a lot.
We have to. We really do. It is very powerful. I just love, if I can customize it, I'm going to. I love being able to do that. And if I want to set my own categories.
It's very customizable, extremely user-friendly too. If you just get in there and play around with it a little bit, it's very easy to learn.
And you can connect your other accounts, right?
Yeah, you can connect your accounts at other institutions. You can
it'll track
loans, deposit accounts. It's awesome. You don't just have only your campus balances available to you. You have your balances everywhere and you're spending everywhere. So you get a full picture.
Exactly. I think that's key. It really is key, because if you're not looking at your credit card transactions, but you're looking at your checking account and thinking about your budget, that's not a full picture of what you're spending, and it's not really putting it in perspective.
Right.
So this is a super fun tool. I know that we had a dashboard, which was another financial management tool. We are sunsetting that. If it hasn't gone down already, I think it is.
Has. So that was fully replaced by this new tool. Dashboard was great, but this takes it to that next level. This is very powerful. Like I said, seeing your balances and transactions everywhere.
Right.
It's great.
That's awesome. Can't beat it. All right, I look forward to going over all of this. That might be a long session for sure. So these were just some common pitfalls, best practices. This is going to be included on that printable resource that I mentioned in the beginning. But top of mind, really, that recurring transfers, I think that's really common. I think the most alarming thing with a recurring transfer that stops is when you get that phone call that says, hey, would you like to pay your loan? And you're like, what? I do. What do you mean? So just avoid all of that and just make sure that you're making those right selections whenever you're setting it up. E-statement options, avoid that $3 fee. Red alerts and online banking. We just want to talk to you. We just want to tell you something. Contact information, always keep that up to date. If there's any changes on your account, like we talked about, that's how we're going to reach you. If you have suspicious activity on your account, that's the information that's going to be used to contact you. So that's important with anybody. If you have an update to your email, mailing, or phone number, contact everyone, Right. And then the activity center, which was, we could see in our bill pay, you can look at the status of all of your payments going out. You can cancel them if they haven't been processed yet. So that's a really helpful feature too. Was there anything else you could think of?
No, that's it. It's a high level overview. There's so many more tools that we weren't able to cover in this shorter session, but get in there, play around with the online banking.
Yeah.
If you need help, give us a call, visit your local service center location. Everyone here is happy to help out. We have a lot of experts in this.
Yes.
And it's there for you to use. It's at your disposal. Get in there and work with it.
Absolutely.